All right, joining us now are Republican congressmen. These are Freedom Caucus guys. Honestly, I don't care if it's the Russia witch hunt. I don't care if it's the Ukrainian witch hunt. Honestly, these two guys have led the way and have been amazing in terms of diligence, hard work, behind the scenes, in front of the cameras. Jim, you were fantastic on the committee yesterday. Mark Meadows, I watched you beat the crap out of the media with your North Carolina temper showing a little bit. It was pretty cool. I didn't expect it. You had a little Hannity in there. I was pretty happy about it. Look, Jim, let me just throw it to you. This is a shift show. This is hurting our country. Look at the foreign ambassador, not the foreign whatever person tonight. President Zelensky saying it before. No, we never felt any of this. This never happened. It should end this nonsense.
Yeah, no, look, their third witness tomorrow in their second hearing is another person who had no contact with the president, no contact with Chief of Staff Mulvaney. I don't think she ever talked to Mayor Giuliani, and yet now this is their third star witness in the first week of these hearings. Here's another thing that I think is a real problem. Adam Schiff hasn't released some of the transcripts. Technically, we're not allowed to use that material in hearings tomorrow. Particularly Mr. Morrison, a witness that we think was very helpful to the president and to the facts. So there's all kinds of problems with this, what they're doing. And, of course, their two-star witnesses yesterday, again, no relationship, no meeting ever, never talking to the president, never talking with Chief of Staff Mulvaney, never talking with Mayor Giuliani, and yet those are their star witnesses that they roll out the very first day.
I don't know what the hell this lady was saying about me, Jim Jordan. We went back in the transcripts, one report on her she mentioned 4 times. I didn't even know who the hell she was, to be very honest.
Yeah. Look, who knows? We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't like being lied about. I know a lot of don't lie about me. I don't like it. That's what they did the last time. And Secretary Pompeo never called me.
That's because you're effective, Sean. You know why they come after you. Why the left comes after you is because you're effective. You're focused on the truth. And here's the good news. The American people see through this. They know the facts are on the president's side, and they know that this is an unfair process. And one of the reasons they know it so well is because you've been telling them every night, and they appreciate that. But it is such a sham, such a sham.
Mark Meadows, look, you've been phenomenal in every way, too, and I know you work hard behind the scenes on everything that's been happening. How does this continue based on hearsay? And what do you think of my challenge to the Senate that the federal rules should apply as it relates to hearsay evidence? It should not be admissible, and I think anybody should have their Sixth Amendment constitutional right to confront their accusers.
Well, you're exactly right, and Jim was right. Here we've got the third witness now that's coming in, Sean, and what I've found is none of those witnesses have ever met Donald Trump, and so when you have a real conversation with him, you start to say, well, golly, why are they actually the star witnesses? Now, tomorrow, it's even better than that. The ambassador who's coming in wasn't there during the phone call, wasn't there when the aid was suspended. You know where she was? She was at Georgetown. And so we got Nancy Pelosi talking about bribery. Well, the only bribery that's going to take place is where she has to bribe the American people to believe the story that they're spinning.
Yeah, and by the way, we're watching the president right now. He's talking about taxes. Anything important, we're going to go right back to him. I promise all of you. This is important, too. Well, then what the hell is she crying about, Jim Jordan? You can't blame John Solomon for what the prosecutor general had to say about her. You can't blame Solomon. Apparently, she was involved in politics and was even given a chance to support the president. And didn't she pass on it?
Yeah. The president has the absolute right to name who he wants to as ambassadors representing our interests around the world. This idea, though, there's a fundamental concern here. This idea that somehow the unelected people tell the elected person how it works. That is not how this great nation operates. That is not how it works. That Donald Trump put his name on the ballot, went through an entire campaign, was elected by 63 million people in this great country, and he's the one who determines the policies in this nation, not this interagency consensus that we heard so much about in these depositions. It's not the unelected people who tell the elected how to do it. It's the other way around, and thank the good Lord for that fact. That's what makes our country such a special place. And for the bureaucracy to say it's different is just flat out wrong.
All right. Well, and Sean, Jim's exactly right. If they want to start directing policy for the hardworking American taxpayer, they need to put their name on a ballot instead of putting their name on a witness list. That's what they need to do.
All right, the only thing is I'm trying to understand, you know what, this, if I ever hurt anybody, I would ask and beg their forgiveness. I didn't know anything about her. But if the prosecutor general's saying that about you, now apparently there was a Ukrainian newspaper that contradicted that. Now, that should be brought into the evidence, but John Solomon, again, talked to the prosecutor general in October and reiterated the same thing. Is that normal behavior, Mark Meadows, of an ambassador, or to give political speeches about the country that which you are represented, the ambassador to?
No. I mean, when you really look at our diplomacy, generally what you see are people who need to stay out of politics. And when, here's the interesting thing, the Ukrainian ambassador to the United States puts an op-ed in really calling out the president and saying a lot of derogatory things. Really, at that particular point, we knew that Poroshenko was there, had to have said that it was okay. And what did we get from our U.S. embassy in Ukraine? Crickets. I mean, it is time that we have to stand up. It's America first, not Ukraine first.
Well, it's funny. That's what the president's talking about right now. We're going to go to that in a second. Jim Jordan, so I want you to reiterate. So this witness tomorrow, no contact with the president of the United States. Any contact with anybody close to the president of the United States?
I don't believe so. No. I mean, look, as Mark indicated, she left the Ukraine in May, came back here. She's now teaching at Georgetown University. So she has no direct relevance on the situation that's the focus of the Democrats' impeachment effort, namely the phone call, which we all know was fine. So she has no direct relevance to that. But again, she's the third witness they call in hearing number 2.
All right, I got to thank you both again, Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows. What you're doing for our country, our Constitution, the rule of law, I don't know, if we didn't have people like you, we'd be in really deep trouble. We'd be in deep shift, if you know what I mean. Thank you both.